A political fight at the state capitol could hold up legislation that aims to improve how Wisconsin responds to sexual assault. Attorney General Josh Kaul hosted a news conference this morning to speak out against a new bill introduced earlier this week. It comes after the Senate passed a bill he supports on sexual assault kit testing procedures.
Subject matter experts on this topic, nurses, law enforcement, advocates for survivors themselves are calling for reform. They're calling for the passage of AB 214, and they're asking the legislature to stop what it has started to do in the last few days, to put an end to the political games and to pass meaningful legislation.
A few years ago, the previous Attorney General discovered more than 6,000 untested rape kits and started the process to eliminate the backlog. The current Attorney General says if legislation isn't passed now, the state could face another backlog, leaving dangerous attackers without punishment.
But tonight, Jennifer Cleasy has you covered on how lawmakers can't agree on how to move forward and how that's affecting potential victims.
I have a child who was there standing right next to me when a man walked in our house and put a knife to my throat.
Jacqueline Jaski came to the Capitol to share her story of the DNA evidence that stopped the man who raped her.
My attacker would have found another victim and succeeded in killing her like he voiced he intended to do to me.
And her concerns over political fighting that could hold up legislation to improve evidence testing procedures.
This here stands for stifling our voices.
Well, my biggest objection to this bill is that I believe that it is designed not to actually get legislation passed, but to kill good legislation.
Attorney General Josh Kaul says measures added to a bill already passed in the Senate undermine the efforts to streamline that testing process. The new pieces focusing on divisive issues among lawmakers like immigration and school choice.
The goal clearly is to divert attention to other divisive topics.
There's no reason to not support this bill because it has exactly what you want, but it goes a little bit farther to provide additional rights and additional protections.
Republicans who wrote the new bill say they made the changes to get their party on board.
The clock was ticking loudly. I didn't want to go another session without this getting done.
But Democrats say ultimately it will hurt survivors.
Lumping them all together is holding sexual assault victims hostage, and that's just not okay.
The Attorney General says the new bill calls for too many requirements that are not supported with funding, and he says leading advocacy groups for sexual assault survivors don't approve of some of the methods and ideas behind the proposals.